Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Today we are going to continue on with YouTube recommendations and check out a band that is very popular. Lots of people want me to look at, and we've already looked at it quite a few times. We are revisiting JINJER today. We're checking out On the Top, which is one of their newer tracks, I believe, off of the Macro album. And yes, this was fairly popular in the votes, even though JINJER is the most reacted to band on this channel. I think they are, this is going to be their fourth or fifth reaction, so, geez, that could have been bad. I'm trying to reposition, and my arm decided I should be fatally injured. Alright, so yeah, let's check out what JINJER's been doing lately. I haven't listened to anything off of this album yet. The only thing I've checked out so far is Micro, I think, the EP I own. So, yeah, let's get into this. Oh yeah, got a lot of good groove there, and that open snare. And all that space between those snare hits. This is a groovy section right here. Yeah, love my silence. Cool synergy going on there for the instruments. Yeah. Really cool chord textures they chose for this part, and the way that they're lining up against the lead melody. And it's still groovy. Lots of cool syncopation going on, even though it's more melodic. I gotta say though, this verse, I'm gonna talk about it later, but it's not really doing it for me. The truck is getting longer and it's led into your doom. You're not afraid to lose your mind in the name of profit. Red wilderness, the finish and the finish and the coffin. It got cut. That's okay. That's okay. Their sense of groovy syncopation is just so good though. Alright. Move to a 3 pulse. I love when this band takes it down. Those little bass lines, yeah.
Stepped aside, losers are crying. The weak stepped aside, losers are crying.
Yeah, that little drum fill right there, very clean. Simple, but clean. Adds so much to that little section. Heavy syncopation there.
It's a race against yourself. Nobody else will meet you there.
This section right here is why I love this band. Oh, let's see. Okay.
Yes, it is what it is. I know you're pissed off now.
All right. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So yeah, that end sequence is what I really love about this band. It's kind of what I love about. It's one of my favorite music in the heavier styles. Kind of relies on. It's kind of like proggy and genty in its um, rhythmic aspects, but it doesn't lose its melody in that. And then there's just strong groove under it, and that ending riff is just like all that combines. It's just so good. It's seriously what I love in heavier music. Um, but yeah, so the ending's good. The verse is so good. It still has the groove, it still has the heaviness, but it uses some really interesting chord textures with the way that she sings over them, and it has this nice non-western feel to it. And I don't know what it is about. I mean, maybe it's just because I grew up around jazz and country and uh, nope, wow, dang, jazz and classical, and then jazz is offshoots, blues and rock and stuff like that. So I'm very entrenched in Western music theory. So anytime I hear chord progressions that are outside of the norm there, they sound unique and interesting because I don't hear them all the time. That's just like cultural bias and personal bias kind of bleeding into what sounds good to me. But I really love stuff that sounds not what I'm used to, and that verse, I mean that chorus kind of hits that sound for me, but then it keeps its groove and its heaviness under it, and the her singing over it, the clean, it's just catchy. It's got a little bit of poppiness to it. Other than like she screams for like one bar in between her cleans, um, but yeah, like that mix of poppy vocals with heavy groovy metal under it. Yeah, that's so good. You guys know I like my good hooks. Um, yeah, and then you got the bridge. She kind of takes it down a notch. The guitar and the bass kind of do this. It's not like a really strong melody line, but they're both kind of doing their own things and kind of interweaving with each other a little bit here and there, and the bass gets to do a nice little run in there. Yeah, just really gorgeous stuff. The only thing is the verse. The verse just it's a bit weak to me. There's a rhythmic idea that they play on a note, and then they go up a half step, maybe a whole step. It's not very far, and they do it again, but it's a little lengthier. So if the first one was like 4 beats, this one would be 5 beats, but it's the same rhythmic idea, just with an extra beat at the end. Then you just bring it back down. You play the shorter version of this riff, then you go back up and you play it again. It's just, it's boring. It's boring. I, it is. I don't think her vocals add much to it. They're a little low in the mix. I couldn't really understand what she was saying. It was more played as another rhythmic instrument, another distorted rhythmic instrument, and again, its rhythmic elements were not that interesting. I don't think the verse as a whole really works for me. But the rest of the song does make up for that. Like I said, the chorus is catchy. The bridge has a nice way of bringing it down and providing context to the rest of the dynamics of the track. And the outro is just everything I love about metal music, and that's, the groovy, syncopated melody. So yeah, I really enjoy a lot of the rest of the song. It's just the verse just did not, and the song started out with a really cool intro, um, and that verse just did not. It did not instill great hope in me. um, I was actually a little concerned the rest of the song was going to be a little uninteresting for me when that verse came in. But yeah, so that was a little worrisome part for me. But yeah, the rest of the song paid off well. I enjoyed it. Um, and like I said, the reason I love Ginger so much is because they have a lot of groove, and they have this real core ability to recognize good syncopation. It is heavily syncopated. It is kind of genty and proggy in that aspect, but it doesn't lose its groove. Um, and they kind of toe the line between like hyper rhythmic thinking metal and groovy, head banging, just like hard rock metal. And they kind of toe that line where it's still groovy, you can still chill, get into that groove with it, but it's still it's still interesting enough that you can be like, oh, okay, so they're doing this. They're using this type of rhythmic idea to create this sound. So yeah, yeah, just that verse, man. I don't know what it is with that verse. And well, okay, so let's look at. I only picked up a few lyrics, but the verse was pretty much. I mean, it's kind of hitting you. It's a little on the nose, kind of hitting you with a blunt object, banging this idea into your head that anytime you try to be the best at something, you're going to end up being lonely. Being that the guy. Oh, let me talk about this for a second. That interpretive dancer, whoever choreographed that dance, is just so good. All right, I really love that choreography. This has nothing to do with the music. I know this is so weird. I don't usually talk about the non-music aspects, but the choreography was amazing. And assuming that this climb to the top is, the corporate ladder, trying to, win at capitalism kind of thing. The businessman in the suit fighting with his briefcase, and the briefcase looking like it's controlling some of his movements, that he doesn't have control of his own destiny and actions. It's about, what the company or shareholders are telling him to do. It's about, whatever's going to make him the most money. Other aspects of his life are controlling him. I mean, it fits together so well. It's done very nicely. Assuming that is, the theme of the song, which is what I get. Being lonely at the top, climbing your way up there, the guy in the suit and the briefcase. To me, it seems to be, at least on a surface level read, about the dangers of trying to get a high score at capitalism. And the chorus states repeatedly that it must be lonely at the top. And if that loneliness, isolationism, or maybe even like the paranoia that everybody around you, even your closest friends, are just vying to take you out and take your place, that kind of paranoia that can stem from that, I guess that could kind of fit into the verse. It is a lonely verse. Like I said, it is two notes that just kind of bounce back and forth. And I mean, that could kind of be seen too as, two people vying for the top place. You got, one guy gets a little richer, then the other guy makes a good business decision, and it just keep going back and forth. Um, I don't know. I might be pulling. I might be, stretching, reaching for straw. What is that phrase? Grasping at straws. Wow. I might be grasping at straws with that one. But yeah, there's definitely, it's simple, especially compared to the rest of the song. The verse is simple and empty. Um, and maybe they were working in thematically elements of isolationism into that and being lonely at the top. I don't know. Um, that would be a best good faith reading of that. Because, like I said, musically, it's the most boring part of the song. I don't really think it fits, and it didn't hit me the way the rest of the track does. But I could at least appreciate if it was done for a thematic reason, and I could see kind of how you could read it from that angle, and I kind of hope that's where it's at, so I can at least appreciate it, since it didn't really impact me. But yeah, so that's Jinja with what is that on the top? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That song that came in though, at the end of not Pisces, but when they were doing like listen to more of our songs. That first one, I'm gonna have to check that one out because her growls, they're impressive. They really are. But I love her cleans and the way that she just has a way with like melodic runs and the way that she phrases her singing. It has such a pop edge to it. And there's always, whenever she sings, there's always a really good hook to it, and it's catchy. She writes catchy cleans, and that's not something that happens in metal often. Metal core, which I think is what I think I've been calling it hardcore or post-hardcore lately, but I guess it's metalcore, like Make Them Suffer. That genre tends to have catchy choruses, and I think that's why I gravitate towards music like that, where it's heavy but not super heavy, and there's still a lot of cleans in it. But this is some of the heavier music that you guys had me listen to that still retains that catchiness when the cleans come in. So yeah, that's probably another reason why I just really dig this band. They're just a really good middle point between some of the lighter, heavier music and the hard, heavy, extreme stuff you guys have been having me listen to. So yeah. Anyways, I really dig this, as usual. I mean, I it's a disservice that I only have their micro EP. I really need to get the rest of their discography because I have not listened to a song I dislike. I probably need to get on that. This is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you enjoyed about the song, what you didn't enjoy about the song. If you think I've been doing Ginger too much and other bands need their fill, you guys let me know. Also, while you're down there, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. All three of those things help me out tremendously. If you'd like, you can check out my Twitter or my Patreon. Those links are in the description. And I will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual, with the last episode of the week, I think. Yep, today's Thursday, so yep, tomorrow's the last one in this theme. And until then, you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos, and be very safe out there.